Hello, everyone. Welcome. Excited that you can join us. We've still got some people jumping on for our Calibri Real Estate monthly webinar that's free to the real estate industry. I'm so excited about today's topic on AI meets ROI. I've got a couple of great presenters and panelists that do this all the time. We're going to have a great hour with everyone. So welcome to the webinar and Happy New Year to everyone out there. So hopefully our goal is to get everything answered. So my name's Tina Lapp. I'm hosting these fabulous gentlemen today, and I am head of industry relations and career excellence for Calibri Real Estate. And I've been in real estate education over 30 years, I think just over 32 years. So obviously, I'm passionate about the success of real estate professionals and the industry, and super excited about today's topic. So it's very timely. So I'm going to pass it along to Cody. Cody, will you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, first off, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you for attending today. It's a pleasure to be here with the Calibri Group, Tina, and all of you guys to learn, share, and ultimately help your guys' business grow. Like Tina said, my name's Cody Stepp. I'm a second generation real estate technologist. I spent the greater half of the last decade in pretty well every role within CRM and technology, from customer support, training, sales, marketing. And now I get to do the fun stuff, innovation at my own company, Workflow Secrets. I have a passion for AI, and our product, SAM, is an AI native system that works to answer that question. Gosh, what comes after the CRM of the last 25 years? And it was kind of born of a desire to help agents with the complex technologies and moving those towards personalized systems that can help you guys free up time for what we feel is the things that matter most. We say that's friends, family, hobbies, and growing your business. So along the way, it ended up becoming my calling. And so I'm excited for the opportunity today for us to get to share with you guys. Hopefully, you guys can feel the passion. And I get the opportunity to work alongside what I consider a true legend of real estate technology. He's my mentor, he's my father, and he's the creator of two of the most used real estate CRMs, Mark Stepp. Mark?
Thank you, Cody. I guess if you are second gen, that makes me first gen, I guess.
That's correct.
Um, Everybody, my name is Mark Stepp, and for the past 35 years, I have been in this industry helping real estate agents grow their business through technology, through workflow processes, through a lot of different things. I was given the opportunity in July of 2024 to team up with Cody. He said, "Hey, Dad, I'm working on a project and I really need your help. Would you be interested in creating your dream CRM?" And I've been, like Cody said, have done it two other times. We had lots of great abilities and content and stuff, but never really got to put in everything that I wanted to incorporate to make your lives easier. Getting into this industry, I saw what real estate agents go through time away from their family and trying to help people with could be the biggest investment of their lives. And yet, their lives are typically uprooted in so many different ways. And just trying to figure out how can I help through automations, through technology to be able to do that. And I've just had the greatest pleasure in putting this new product that we've got together with Cody and just having fun with it. So what we want to do is just kind of share some knowledge, some insights on what AI and CRMs can do for you. So let me go to the next slide here real quick. Um, Let me start with a question. Does your CRM actually make your life easier? Or is it one more thing that you need to be doing better? in the chat, if you would, if you have the opportunity, write down either easier or need to do better. There's all kinds of answers. Need to do better, need to do better. Everybody that there are a few easiers, that's good to see. Everybody that I've talked to, whenever they get into the thought or the mental clarity of trying to come up with a CRM, they get lost in things. And most agents, whenever they're dealing with contacts with their people, they don't have a lead problem as much as they have a leak problem. This means dropping the ball on new leads, on past clients, on letting processes that should be automated, but they fall through the cracks. And really today, what we're going to do is talk about all things CRM, how to spot the green flags if you're looking for a new CRM or looking to really grasp the technology in a way that's more than what you've been doing. If you've not used anything at all, doing something is better than nothing. But if you're currently doing something and it's working for you, you may not want to change. But you need to actually know, what are the things that I can do to make my life easier? So we want to take a look at some of the green flags, the red flags, which automations top agents actually rely on, how to scale your business with AI without losing the human touch. I get so many questions about, I'm really cautious about AI because I don't want to lose touch with my people. And I totally agree with that. It's not about replacing you with anything. It's about giving you the opportunity to spend more time with your people by eliminating those things that are taking up and robbing your current time. And also how to build systems that support your business instead of you running it. So one of the things I do want to make sure you guys understand is really there's no magic wand. There is a smarter, more sustainable way to use tech, and that's what we really want to cover today. So those are really kind of the outline of what we want to do. Let's talk about two lights, the green light and the red light. What are those go actions and what are those cautions that we need to think about whenever we're looking at AI, looking at CRM, looking at workflows? Some of the things that I want to caution everybody about is, and I don't want this to be a negative necessarily, but make sure that whatever your CRM is, that you own your relationships. And what I mean by that is, if you are being provided a CRM by your brokerage or your company, make sure that in the event that you do want to leave that brokerage, not that we're saying that you need to leave, but the fact is 1 in 10 agents switch brokerages any given year. And in a decade, it's multiple times. So you've got to make sure that whatever technology you do choose, that you can take those relationships with you and they're not being used by your predecessor, if that makes sense. Just a caution there. But that is the green flag, is make sure that you own your relationships. Ask about that. Make sure that it has good workflow and AI automations. The ability for contacts whenever they're coming into your database or things that you're doing, make sure that whenever things happen, other things happen automatically, that you don't necessarily have to remember to do something. And that's important. AI helps build automations. Make sure that you get something that not only uses AI to give you information, but it also helps you build your content and do the things that the software is capable of doing. And that may mean, does the CRM or whatever application you're using, if you're needing it to build workflows for you, does it have enough information about how to build those workflows in its own self that it can self-create those? It's, you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, give me a follow-up plan for the next 10 days for first-time home buyers. And it can spit it out. But then you have to go in and take that information and put it into some system. Does that system have that ability to create those workflows? It might be that if you look for the right tool, the tool itself can actually build the workflow right into itself, and you don't even have to worry about transferring it from ChatGPT into another. Something to think about. The bigger thing, if anything, that I want to make sure everybody is aware of is human in the loop. AI is great at drafting information and creating content, but you guys need to use your own discernment. Cody uses that word quite frequently, is, make sure that you, as the professional real estate agent, knows, your processes, knows the real estate framework, and just letting AI to generate something for you isn't always the best thing. You want to have human in the loop so that it will, if it drafts something, that you approve it before it goes out. Never send anything. And I think that's pretty well assumed, but make sure that that is something that's built into the system. And then just the workflow portability. Whenever you create something, especially if you're using a brokerage provided system, again, if you need to leave that brokerage, I'm not promoting that, but it happens. Can you take that with you? And does whatever you're going to have the ability to bring in, have the power to be able to do the things that you're used to doing? It's a challenge to switch systems. So switching systems isn't something that you need to take lightly. You want to make sure that it covers you for your demographic also. A solo agent has different needs than a small team or a large team. So you've got to look at all those different aspects. And while we could cover all of those, that's not something I wanted to really go through. These are just kind of generic to the demographics as a whole for all the real estate agents. As far as red flags, the one thing that gets in the way mentally a little bit is AI powered. Whenever you're looking at CRMs that are out there, one of the keywords out there is it, AI powered. A lot of times that is just basically a chat bot on top of a messy database. So you've got to be really careful about what and ask, what is it that the AI is doing for me? Is it just asking questions, answering questions that you ask, or is it actually giving you relevant processes that you can do, next steps that you can do with your clients or your listings, your transactions? What are those things that you do? And just make sure that the AI powered isn't just giving you, hey, this is what's on your dashboard type information. How many listings did I do last month? You can look at a dashboard and see that. So don't have to get all technical just to get a little bit of information. AI without guardrails. The whole set it and forget it mentality is great in theory, but you want to make sure that it's not something that you do that you regret later. There's many times that AI, and it's getting better, but there are cases, lots of cases where hallucinations happen, where the AI will convince you that what they're saying is accurate, but it's totally wrong. And that, again, is where you use that discernment. Make sure that you use that in a daily process. Anytime you're dealing with AI, you want to make sure that you're doing that. One of the cautions also is just make sure that every feature isn't, a separate subscription. forcing you to buy lots of different things. That can be a real challenge. And then legacy architecture constraints. Many times with some of the systems out there, you are really held back by old technology that still is residual, and you can't do a lot of the things that you want to do. One of the things that's been great about what we've been doing is ground up AI. We knew that AI was important, and building that from the ground up, knowing where we wanted to go, and just having fun with it. There's a lot of stuff there. So the question isn't, does it have AI? The question may be more like, does the AI have enough context into what you're doing, enough permissions to help you take the next step in the action? So those are kind of the red light, green light elements on that. For the past several years, one of the training pieces, the frameworks that I teach is called CORE. It's my 4 core strategies: conversions, operations, retention, and experience. The conversions is everything that you deal with whenever you work towards getting a lead, you get that lead, and you turn them to a client. That's the conversion process. Once you've got the clients in the listing agreement or the buyer's agreement, everything from that agreement all the way to contract and close is your operations. And then the retention is everything after. So whenever you look at your core business, those are the 3 elements that are extremely important, really, in any business, not just real estate, but we focus in on those. And having a system that works in those 3 elements is extremely important. The last strategy, the E in this, is the experiences. If you can give a client a good experience, what's the likelihood of them wanting to do a repeat business with you or refer business to you? It's pretty high. If you go to an amazing steakhouse, and I have a whole steak story that I typically run through, but whenever you get amazing service from somebody, don't you tell other people? Well, you need a system in your own business that utilizes automations, that utilizes the workflows and AI to be able to give people an experience. And in this core framework, we kind of go through that and making sure that everybody does get that experience as they're going along with things. To do that process, typically it's a matter of going through and saying, hey, what kind of experience can I give during that conversion process, the very first part of it, the speed to lead and AI personalization types of workflows, we call them actually routines. Whenever you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you get coffee, that's your morning routine. And it's just done automatically. And that's really what we consider kind of the workflow secret, is breaking everything down into smaller, manageable, and usable, reusable pieces, and setting up a speed to lead using AI personalization. And I'm not talking about necessarily merge fields that put in there, Dear John, Dear Mary, Dear Sue. Those are just merge fields that add personalization. But AI personalization could go in and look at the contact record and say, oh, Cody's interested in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Whenever I send him a birthday message, maybe I reference Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in there in some kind of context. So creating the automations to be able to do this is something that's really important for brand new leads and stuff. The other automation that most agents want to be able to, top agents actually use, is that stale contact rescue. You've got a gold mine in your database. All the names that you've got in your database. Are you reaching out to them regularly beyond just monthly newsletters? Are you touching them personally in a way that mentally they feel that relationship? So building out the routines, building out the workflow processes to deal with the conversion process are the first two elements. The next part of it would be your operations. Whenever you get that new listing, what are the things that you do during pre-listing, during marketing, during maintenance that will make you stand out? What will give them that experience that you know what you're doing and you step them through a standardized process, but it's personalized also to them using AI. This is extremely critical whenever you want to differentiate yourself between other agents in your area. The contract to close is the same way. You've got different deadlines and reminders and notifications, making sure that the routines that you set up or the workflows that you set up are set up in a way that adds that personalization. But going through that whole process can be very time consuming. And what we want to do is kind of use AI to be able to create these things. You then using your human in the loop abilities of checking it, making sure this is what you want, let it then give you what you think you need, go through, make sure it gave you what you need, and then approve it and let it go through. The last part of that is the retention of core strategies. That is everything from the time you close all the way until the repeat business. Unfortunately, we in this industry, we don't have a monthly repeat business, right? It's 3 years, 5 years, 12 years down the road before they do something again, possibly. So you've got to have systems in place to handle the long-term, long timeline that it takes to get them to be repeat. However, you've got a lot of referral possibilities. If you gave them that great experience, they're going to tell other people. So, Cody, did you have anything to add? I'm just kind of rambling on here.
Yeah, Mark, this is great, and I kind of wanted to let you speak. In the chat, it looks like we've got kind of a mixed bag. Lots of new agents, lots of agents who have been in real estate for quite some time, tackling a lot of the things that we have. So it does look like a lot of folks are talking about the conversions piece, bringing in those leads. And there's a lot of different ways. Background, I run our marketing, but I have a master's in marketing. There's a lot of different ways to get leads. And I want to let you know the low-hanging fruit is paying for leads. And I say it's low-hanging because a lot of times you're not the only one paying for these leads. And so what you need to start doing is start preparing things that are not only valuable, but can work to inform and give these leads that are actually coming into the door valuable information with the goal of driving them closer to becoming a customer. So we go about that a couple of different ways, whether it be what we call lead magnets, which are oftentimes resources that we hand out, or we can do that with little quizzes that we would give. And then we can start to figure out, gosh, where do they fall into the bracket? And we can understand, are they 3 months away from being ready to move to that next stage and become a customer? Are they 3 years? All of those are going to take a different amount of nurturing. And so we can go about this through all of our efforts, whether it be the social media posts we're putting out there, whether it be the different community events we're going to. All of these can be lead driving efforts. And when you take the core strategies framework and you take that experiences and you throw it to the very top, try to think about how you can do it into your conversions. This is one of my favorite pieces. There are things that we call them, lots of folks call them, they're called niches, right? And the idea here is there's things that you do as a real estate agent that are very specific to you, your neighborhood, your market, that you can use to draw in the right folks. So when Mark and I were preparing for this, some of the ideas that I came up with, I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's a really old city and it's a really thriving city. And so there's always something to do. But you can look at maybe local events and you could become the local expert, or you could look at restaurants that are coming into your city. Maybe you go visit a restaurant, you try the menu, and you start building guides on how folks who are interested in living in those areas can enjoy those areas. You could do it for the school districts, you could do it for the parks. Any activities, any areas of life that you guys are going to be touching or you like to touch because that's where most of your customers come in, those are prime pickings for really focusing in our conversions piece and creating resources that are going to get people looking at us. And then once we've already solved one problem, they're going to allow us to help them again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing that I want to make sure of, guys, this is not a pitch. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I do want to make sure that you guys realize kind of what I'm talking about with AI. And Cody just kind of brought up something that I think is important for us to kind of discuss. This is Sam, our systems accelerator manager. Systems accelerator is kind of a new or a different classification of things where it manages all your different systems, because there's lots of integrations of things that are out there, but underlying on it's the foundation of everything, is the data, and data is gold right now. And making sure that you have that foundation that's usable by other systems is important. Other integrations. One of the things that a lot of people do is they will go in and create, using ChatGPT or whatever, create some kind of lead magnet. We've gone through and broken it down by the core strategies, but say we want to create something in that conversions area. I can go into conversions. Maybe I want to make a lead magnet. Maybe it's a frequently asked questions type of thing. During You've got your own little niches of things that you do. Maybe, in this case, first time home buyers. Maybe it's downsizing senior living or relocation services, whatever that is. You can create content through ChatGPT or whatever to do that. One of the things early on, and this is really where Cody started doing this, early on we saw people kind of get that deer in the headlights look, glazed eye look. And of course, if you guys aren't from Midwest, maybe you don't have deer running in front of your trucks or anything like that. But you see that, you get a little scared and you recognize that look. Well, what Cody did initially was created this generator to create leads, lead magnets and other things that's similar to ChatGPT, but it kind of steps you through the process. And instead of having to know how to use ChatGPT, you just kind of answer a few questions. What's your niche? What is your voice? How do you sound whenever you write content? And we've got ways of automatically determining that based off of previous writings that you've done. But then based off of creating this, we might come down here and say, okay, what's the objective of this lead magnet? And it'll give you a very basic thing, but based off of more context of what you do, how you do it, you can give it more information using AI to help build the objective. So then you'd click on begin. Now this would be ideal. This is prompt engineering. If you guys have been told months ago about prompt engineering, you really don't need to do that anymore. But what is the prompt, the objective of what you want to do? Well, you could type that into ChatGPT and it could spew out a bunch of things for you. Now, one of the things that they teach for ChatGPT is to say, hey, instead of just getting that generic thing, whatever response you're going to get, one thing you might do is just add at the bottom, please ask me 10 questions to help understand what I'm going for, whatever. Well, that was built in. Cody built that into the system. So you don't have to go through and ask ChatGPT to do that. Sam kind of steps you through that. So not only does it ask you the questions, it gives you what it thinks will be the answer based off of knowledge about you and what you do. So it's retaining information about you in the system, and it continues to grow. You answer these how you like. If there's questions you don't like, you knock them off, whatever. But then you go continue. Well, it will then go out and it'll do what ChatGPT does, and it'll start creating content. And that's great. You can then use that content and take it to Canva, take it to other places to do the things that make it pretty and make it into an actual lead magnet. In this case, it creates this document of information. Again, I could send this to Canva. I could do lots of different stuff. One of the things, because this is a systems accelerator, is we do allow you to do integrations with different things. One integration may be Gamma. Now, if you're not familiar with Gamma, Gamma is a great way to take content and pretty it up. If you want something pretty, you can send something like this to Gamma. It can use what it's created and actually create something very, very cool. So you would click on send to Gamma. Now, I'm not going to do that just because it does take a couple extra minutes, and we're going to be pushing time if we're not careful here. But I'm going to return back here. What I want to show you here is maybe a Gamma. So here's a downsizing type of thing. And I want to open up the PDF. So Gamma took the content from a downsizing generation, and it created something like this. And you can create all kinds of different images, whether these are more cartoonish, but you can do live photorealistic type stuff. But taking that content that's generated through Sam that knows about your business and then sending it to this now becomes an amazing lead magnet. People will want this. You put out on your website or Facebook or whatever that you've got content, and it could be very specific to your area, to your neighborhood, to your city, or whatever, and be able to give them content that is to your audience. And it's not anything that anybody else would have created. So this is unique. We'll answer any questions on that one later, but having AI generate this stuff for you, and now that whatever was generated now becomes knowledge inside of SAM, so that it can be reused and be used for answering questions and stuff like that. So you can really do some amazing stuff there with generations. The other thing, one of the challenges that real estate agents have is whenever they are switching systems, it's not easy. I guarantee you it's something that you will not enjoy necessarily, but AI can help make things much easier for you. One of our processes is, or one of our areas is our routines. This is our workflow area where maybe I wanted to create a new workflow, and I could go in and do an entire workflow. I'm just going to do one like a new lead follow-up, maybe first time home buyer lead nurture. Okay, so I'm going to set up this routine. I'm going to base it off of new lead date. So the lead comes into the database. Maybe that lead came in through a Facebook ad where they were asking for, this lead magnet. And as soon as it enters into your database, at that point, the new lead date gets filled in and it triggers the system automatically. That's what you want. Well, we can come up here and say, what's the objective of this? Well, we said first time home buyer lead nurture. Maybe we want a 10-day email series. I'm gonna bring this down. It'll take too much time. I want to say 4-day email lead series where something about first time home buyers each day, something like that. Now, I could take that and say, AI, give me a better prompt for that. And it'll go through and it'll go through and make a much more dramatic and detailed information about that. But I can click on generate. Now, this is where the AI is helping you, not just creating content, but building it. Now, you could go out to ChatGPT and do that same thing, and it's going to give you something like this. Day 1, do this. Day 2, day 3, whatever. And it create it. You can use your own discernment. Is this what I want? And if it is, then go along with it. If it's not, you can make changes. But now what this is doing, instead of requiring you to take what ChatGPT does, bring it to your system and start figuring out how to put it into your system, it goes through and it builds the routine. It says, oh, you also are sending emails. Let me build those templates for you again, in your voice, in your language, because we do have customers that use SAM that speak Spanish, and they send out to all their Spanish customers. And so you can have it create all the content in Spanish. One of the really cool things is that whenever you are sending content, don't you want to make sure that it's personalized to that person? Why not have AI take the content that's being sent, and if it's not in their language, because the contact record specifies, hey, they speak Spanish or Portuguese or whatever, that if the content's being sent in English, that it immediately translates it before it gets sent out. You have to know Portuguese to really confirm what it says, but you can have somebody take a look at that if that's something that interests you. But in either case, it's gone through and it's created the routine for those 4 days. I can go in and I can see the welcome letter. I can see what it actually typed out, all the information. All these different things can be created instantaneously using AI. And that's the thing that I want you to realize. Not that, again, I'm not trying to sell you on SAM, but I'm trying to emphasize what AI can do for you if you're getting a system that uses AI. So is that too much?
No, that's great, Mark. And going back into the comments, it looks like that kind of helps showcase, what kind of features are out there. Can the AI assist you in creating those lead magnets? Can it assist you in managing those automations so that once you have those leads coming into your system, they get nurtured, they get followed up with, and you're able to start building what we like to call the world-class client experiences through that repeat referral. We're going to nurture them long term. The other things that it seems folks were just generally looking for is the idea of being able to migrate. And you kind of touched on this at the beginning. One of the hardest things for you guys to do is going to be migrating from system to system. I think the stat is something like you switch CRMs every 3 to 5 years, which is crazy to me because these are truly, in a lot of cases, the backbone of your business. And so you want to make sure that you're looking for that system that not only can do what you need it to, can it store your contacts? That's like the bare minimum. I mean, even Excel can store contacts. But can it help you keep things from falling through the cracks through those automations, through those management pieces? Can it help you with your properties, listings, transactions so that you can manage the specifics of your actual real estate business? And then can it help you build those relationships? And then I like to think that the last little piece to that is, do you enjoy using it? The CRM that is going to be best for you is going to be the system that you actually sign into. And as a technologist, that's one of the hardest things that Mark and I have to come up against is, gosh, how do we get folks to actually use it each and every day? And so we've gone about that by making it easy to use, making it enjoyable. Hopefully you like the colors. So there's a lot that we can do in that front, but you have to have success using it to manage your business, and then it proves to itself. So Mark, I think I think that kind of gives a general experience of what's going on there.
Yeah, awesome. The routines, the workflow processes that I just showed you, I just kind of showed you this first one, speed to lead. Number one, how fast can you create that routine, but also how fast can you get to that lead whenever they hit your database. If they hit the website, they fill out a form, they go to Facebook, they fill out a form, they're asking for information. Maybe they give you a business card and you just actually a whole nother story there, but you guys go to a lot of conventions and stuff. How many business cards do you guys get? There's ways of preventing cards in total where you can use QR codes and stuff, but getting those people into the database, and then how do you use AI, use workflow automations? And whenever I'm talking about workflows versus AI, that there are things that you do that I'm going to use a technical term here, deterministic versus non-deterministic. Meaning deterministic is day one, I do this, day two, day three, day four. It's very rigid as far as what we need to do. But AI can help create those, but AI can also augment those as they go off. If it's a birthday message that says, happy birthday, Cody, that's great. But happy birthday, Cody. Hey, how's your progress in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Hope you're doing well. Hope it's going well for you, whatever. Making AI work for you in those situations means the system has to understand you and your data in order to continue through. So doing that same thing for your operations, one of the things that is interesting to me is how many transactions actually fall through the cracks because of deadlines and reminders, but typically it's because you may be a competent agent, but the agent on the other end may not know what they don't know. They may not have systems in place. So sometimes it's a matter of creating the systems as a fail-safe for the other people as well, making sure that you've got things in place that you don't want to treat them obviously like they don't know their business, but a lot of agents just don't. They don't know the process. And unfortunately, there is a low bar of entry for this in some cases, and that education for a beginning person versus somebody that's been in several years, there's a lot of knowledge that's been gained there. So it's important to do. Excuse me. So you're going to be in one of three buckets. You're going to be in the bucket of, I don't want anything to do with AI. You're in the denial bucket. And for those people that are in that denial bucket, you're going to be obsoleted. You're going to be replaced. Not by the AI itself, but by people that are using AI. You could be in the panic stage. Oh, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose all my customers. AI is doing all this. That can be another bucket. You don't have to be there. What you need to be in the bucket of is AI is going to help me leverage those big tasks so that I can succeed. Make sure that we do what we need to do on time. So we're talking about the automations in place so that you can be busy with your customers, with your clients, building those relationships while workflows, your processes, your systems are all doing what they need to do in the background, allowing you extra time to do the things that you enjoy doing. Hopefully you enjoy. This is a people business. And if you're not a people person, you may have a problem, but certainly something to think about, using AI as your leverage. So we do have our own lead magnet, and this is something that's built into SAM. It's an assessment. You guys can use your cameras on your phones, scan that code. It will take you to this website, basically the workflowsecrets.info AI CRM. That URL will take you to a SAM assessment, and it's a lead magnet as well. The cool thing about it is it will ask you a few questions. Now, these could be, instead of the questions about, are you ready for AI CRM? These could be questions for, are you ready to buy your first home? Are you ready to move up to your next home? Different assessments for you guys as real estate agents. Take the quiz, and at the end of the quiz, you're given a score and an assessment. Now your client is getting immediate value on what's their score. But if they go ahead and fill out an email and a name, they will get the rest of the assessment. So you're giving them instant gratification with a little bit of a score, but you're going to get better information. You're going to not get those Fred Flintstones and those Barney Rubble names that are bogus names of people because they wanted to get something. And what this will do is at least give you what was their question, what was their answer, and the assessment of that answer, and what built up that score. And then you will know better how to help them in their home buying and selling processes. So certainly you guys can use that to kind of see how that works. You'll be getting the assessment and a few extra bonuses as well. Tina, I think, how are we doing on time?
Yeah, we're doing great. That's fabulous. Thank you so much, Mark and Cody. We do have a couple of questions, and I love Cody's in there responding to most of them. A lot of questions about the system. But one of the questions we have is, and I'll read it to you. A hard part we have with agents is ensuring info is up to date. As an example, an agent works with their client or lead via phone calls or maybe even a local text message. However, they don't record in the CRM. And so they're asking, does your CRM or are you aware of any that can read these from a phone or auto update some of that information and the contact to the database?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do synchronize with Google so that you can bring over, if you've got your names in Google and bring them over, you can certainly do that. One of the things that we do have is along with our assessment part of this is just a landing page where you can send all your clients. You could send them to this landing page. It'll fill in some basic information about them, their first name, last name, stuff like that. But you can also ask them to fill out other fields of information, and then it would come in as a pending process where you can see what did they fill out. And did they fill in, like maybe you want to make sure that all your database has birthdays, in them. You send out a message to your people that you don't have birthdays, that sends them to this landing page that has their name and email information. Maybe their email's changed or whatever. But what it does then is it can auto update the database for you to keep it in sync. So that's a way of doing it. But we can synchronize your contacts with your phone through Google. There are lots of other ways that we actually do import. I mean, we can import business cards and VCAR files and a lot of other things, but keeping that data up to date. Whenever you're going into your contacts and looking at your contacts, making sure that they, have accurate information for phone number. These are just bogus information here. Making sure that you have, accurate information is important. Are they tagged right? You need a database that gives you the power to be able to sort through your data, to be able to do stuff with it. And if you're just going into your database just to get a phone number, then you've got nothing more than a glorified address book. You're not using the CRM the way it needs to be used.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the most valuable pieces today, Mark, is being able to see the power of AI. And it's not just keeping track of your leads with maybe some dates you need to touch base with them, but giving the tools to create what it is and content and all of that is so powerful. So I think this has been amazing. I know, like I said, Cody's been answering a lot of the questions about the product, about how some of this works. I know he's talking to them, a few folks interested in a commercial version, so that's fun. But yeah, I think this is fantastic. Anything more, like I said, for those folks out there, this is one tool. There are several out there. I think what's beautiful about this tool is it's built by individuals who have been immersed in the real estate industry for decades. And so that's something that's very unique here, and one of the reasons why we really needed to highlight it. But absolutely, it's important that you're embracing these tools. They are life-changing time savers, and really, quite frankly, enhance what you're able to put out there for your clients and connecting with your clients. So I guess, Mark, Cody, any final words of advice, comments, as individuals are really just beginning in real estate to embrace AI, while others are running with it and doing all kinds of things? Any final words of advice?
Just don't be in the first two buckets. Embrace it, leverage it, do the things that it takes to learn. There's not a magic wand, like I said earlier, but you have the world at your fingertips right now using AI. Literally, what we build today with using AI, we actually use AI our system is self-aware as we're developing it, and we can tell it, hey, build this piece, and it builds itself because of AI. What used to take months now takes hours or sometimes minutes for us to create content. And the ability to use AI in that way in your own business is what you need to think about. How can I structure my processes, my systems? And whenever I say systems, it doesn't necessarily mean computer systems. It's what do you do to give your clients that world-class experience? And if you're giving them repeatable world-class experience, they're going to tell people, and that's going to increase your referral process. It's going to increase your repeat business, and it just becomes a lot easier that way. You don't have to spend as much on those leads at the very beginning because you get more in referrals.
Yeah. And some folks are asking about how they can connect with you if they were interested in purchasing, interested in pricing, those kinds of things. Looks like you have a link there. Can they get all their information there?
Workflowsecrets.info is the website. You can go there just for that. Certainly reach out if you're doing the little assessment. You don't have to, but if you do, you'll be put in the database, and we'll be able to send you information if you want. So we'll definitely reach out. We want to make sure that we're helpful to you guys in however we can.
Yeah. I think that's great, Mark. And thank you for taking the time. And for those of you who are still with us, that, like I said, just getting visibility into all the tools that are out there, play with it, have fun with it. This is really, really cool stuff that will help you move faster and more efficiently. And quite frankly, some of the emails and graphics and some of these other things are probably better than what you're using today. So I think this is wonderful. Appreciate the two of you joining us today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
go ahead.
thank you so
Final
much, Tina.
thought. So I do want to mention before everyone jumps, we do a podcast. I host the podcast, the majority of them anyway. I've got a couple other folks who will jump in and help me as needed. But we talk with individuals who have been licensed in real estate for usually it's 1 to 3 years, who have had extreme success in their first year. Love the audience as individuals who are considering a career in real estate, or they've been recently licensed and they're looking for maybe some inspiration to get started and ideas on how other folks have done this. I love doing these. The people I have worked with and had the opportunity to feature are absolutely amazing individuals. So one, check it out. It's Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, and it's available anywhere you get your podcast. We also have a YouTube channel, which I have a link there. But if you are one of those individuals who has been licensed less than 3 years and you've had extreme success in real estate, reach out to me, Tina .lap@calibrigroup.com. I can drop that in the chat. But also there's a link there for a form that goes to our team and we'll process it. But we're always looking for new talent to highlight, and it's a great opportunity for you to be highlighted, and you can use that for some of your social media, but then also to give back and help others. So I just wanted to mention those. I absolutely love them, and we have a great industry with a lot of great people. So just thought I'd mention that while I had you all here. That's it for now. If you do want to reach out to Calibri, if you're interested in any of the education for your license or looking to upgrade to broker, or looking to get your Institute for Luxury Home Marketing designation or any of those things, we also have a course and a certification on AI. So if you're interested in any of that, give us a call or send us an email. We have a full team of individuals across the country here to help you out and help get your questions answered. So feel free to reach out. Thank you so much. Happy 2026, and may 2026 bring a wonderful year for all of you real estate professionals.